When we run a successful project, we should be able to use it as a guide for others of the same sort. So making a template of a project plan in Microsoft Project should be fairly straightforward, and it is. Aside from overallocations, which take some time juggling, and split tasks, which we generally have to deal with manually, here are the main things we need to do. First, we need to hide the project summary task. We can't delete it, but we can't do certain other things with it showing. The Gantt Chart Tools Format tab is the place we go for this, and particularly the Show Hide group over here on the right. We simply uncheck the check mark for Project Summary Task, and it's hidden. The next thing is to click at the extreme upper left corner of the left side of the Gantt. We want to select the entire batch of tasks to set them all up for a new project. So clicking there, as in an Excel worksheet, selects the entire sheet, as it were. We then go to the Task tab, and in the Tasks group, we click the button for Auto Schedule. This is needed because when we change the start and finish dates of the project, any manually scheduled tasks will not move in time along with their fellows, so they won't let us do all the tasks in sequence. Now all of them are going to auto-schedule. Also in the Task tab, we go to the Schedule group itself and set all the tasks to 0% complete. After all, each time we start a new project, nothing's done at first. Then it gets a little more subtle. We find the Properties group and click the button for Task Information. But since we have all the tasks selected, as we can see here, we're going to be adjusting or changing the task information for multiple or all of the tasks. Specifically, we want to go to the Advanced tab and set the constraint type, to be as soon as possible, assuming we're starting from the start date. We're scheduling from the start date of the project, because we know that with all the tasks selected, it'll set them all back to as soon as possible, and we don't know that any constraints will be otherwise next time. The important thing is we now have a consistent starting point on our constraints. We also want to make sure that there's nothing in the deadline space. We really don't need to do anything here other than click and clear anything out. If there's nothing there to begin with, it's fine. But since deadlines may also not exist for future projects, it's important to clear that part out too. We can then click OK. You can unselect the batch of tasks if you want, but the most important thing now is to go to File, that is the File tab, to Save As, and tell the program what we want to call the file and where we want to settle it, and most importantly, change the Save As type. Needless to say, we want it to be Project Template, and we can change the file name to whatever we wish. We can include the word template. It doesn't have to be in there, although some people will include it. It's a little easier to tell what's a template if you have the word template in there. And in some cases, depending on which version of the program you have, it'll automatically navigate the template to the templates folder in your Microsoft Office folder. But when we hit Save, something else comes up. The Save As Template dialog box. This is the last item that we need to concern ourselves with. And we have to select the things that we're going to remove, not keep, when we check the check marks. The most common things we remove are the first and the last. The values of all the baselines, for example, are going to change when we start a new project. They will almost always move. And whether tasks have been published to the project server or to the project app, many people have told me they don't use this feature, so removing that information as well is no trouble. And then we click Save. We can glance up at our title bar to make sure that the project is saved under its new name. Sometimes it takes a few seconds. There we go. And here we have MPT, Microsoft Project Template. As I said, overallocations and split tasks are a separate matter, and a little more complex to deal with, at least a little more time-consuming. If you're careful, you may have already cleared them out before making the template. That would be a good idea. But the steps that I've mentioned here are pretty universal.